Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our panelists here today for sharing your insight and expertise. I think you've all touched on the fact that a permanent tax code is a somewhat simpler tax code, certainly eliminates one of those unpredictable provisions of the tax code. We know that the marketplace is volatile. It impacts the economy in various ways. And Mr. Stallman, I know that agriculture certainly sees the volatility of the marketplace and tries to manage that. We hope we don't have volatile tax policy as well. Can you, especially in the light of the fact that agriculture, I think, has done very well with producing more, using less water, less resources, less land. I think there's a great story to tell there. But can you perhaps illustrate kind of the added risk to agriculture given uncertain tax policy?
Well, it impedes, the progress of the industry with uncertain tax policy. I mean, the risk is that without knowing what the tax policy is, without being able to make business decisions where we have some certainty for the future, then that inhibits us from creating as a productive and efficient platform as the industry needs for the future. You mentioned some of the progress we've made. We've made tremendous progress on so many fronts in productivity, but also in use of resources. But a great deal of that has to do with acquiring the technology, the equipment, the tools to be able to do that. And those are getting more expensive by the year. And so particularly in things like our expensing policy with Section 179, that directly relates into our ability to make those decisions to maintain an ever-improving production platform for U.S. agriculture. And without that, we don't have that certainty and we'll be inhibited in making those decisions.
Okay. More specifically, perhaps, could you elaborate in terms of Schedule F filing, what that means to your members, and especially how that would relate to permanent tax policy?
Well, as farmers and ranchers, we do file on a separate schedule, Schedule F, as you referenced. The big issue there for us, I think, is cash accounting versus accrual accounting. In terms of being able to file on a Schedule F and being able to, frankly, manage our finances and our incomes and our tax expenditures to a certain extent using cash accounting as opposed to accrual accounting. In the long run, all it does is allow us to sort of remove the ups and downs that are inherent in the volatility that we experience, both in terms of the marketplace and in terms of the weather. So, for some years we'll have a very large income. For other years we will have much less. But without some ability to sort of manage those swings from a tax and economic standpoint, once again, it makes it more difficult for us to do our business as farmers and ranchers.
Okay. Well, thank you again to our panelists, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.